Tonight, one way to meet potential employers.
Plus, what's on the SGA's agenda. Stay tuned. TrojanVision Nightly News starts now.
From the high-definition digital production center on the Troy campus, with news from Troy University locations around the world, this is TrojanVision Nightly News.
Hello and welcome to TrojanVision Nightly News for April 3rd, 2013. I'm Deatra Montgomery.
And I am Bailey Majors. Thank you for joining us this evening. After a week off, Troy University Student Government Association assembled this week. Judson Garner reports on what the SGA accomplished in its meeting.
Tuesday night in Howell Hall, Troy University's SGA passed a resolution to start working on a way for students without transportation to get off campus.
That we're going to try and develop a transit system to get students to be able to, that don't have cars or that don't want to drive downtown from Troy's campus to the downtown area.
Carter says the new route for the trolleys has not been finalized, but she does say the plan is for the trolleys to become more active within certain parts of the city of Troy.
Right now, the Trojan Trolley route just covers on campus, and we want it to help the businesses that are off campus too. But we're hoping that it'll go downtown and that it'll go to all the on-campus housing, maybe even to like 231, somewhere on 231.
Also Tuesday, the SGA approved two new freshman forum leaders, Heath Barton and Shauna Hutzler. Hutzler says she hopes to give freshman forum more of a voice within the SGA.
Incorporate more of the SGA and freshman forum. They're separate meetings, and I feel like they're kept so separate, and we both really would love to have them join together.
Freshman Forum placed a bill on docket that would allow students to use to-go boxes for the Trojan Dining Hall. Senator Icuzio said that the SGA tried this 2 years ago, and Sodexo, Troy University's food supplier, rejected the idea because once food left the dining hall, Sodexo was still technically reliable for that food, even if the food goes bad over time and is the cause for a student getting sick. But the SGA did vote to put the bill on docket, and we'll have an update on its progress next week. Judson Garner, Troy, TrojanVision News.
If Sodexo were to allow to-go containers along with paying a small fee for the container, SGA President Will Thompson says that students would also likely have to sign a waiver before leaving the dining hall.
Everyone's main goal after graduation is finding a job, and tomorrow students will have a chance to talk to some potential employers. Rachel Scarborough shows a preview of Spring Career Fair.
On Thursday, companies from around the state will be at Troy University looking for some possible new employees. Businesses from banks to the police departments will be at the Spring Career Fair.
We've got 44 companies currently signed up, which is a really good number, and we're hoping to even maybe have a few more that slip in at the last minute.
The Career Fair is in Sartain Hall this year, and Cole says she hopes the move from the Trojan Center ballrooms will attract more students.
We just want to try a new venue to see if we like it better. We're hoping that as students walk in from the parking lots, it's a convenient location for our students.
The fair is a way for students to network with companies, and you can never start too early.
It's for anybody. It's a great way to start getting their name in with a business that they're interested in.
When going to the career fair, you need to keep one thing in mind. Be confident and look confident.
We say dress appropriately for the career fair. We pretty much mean business wear, what you would wear to the office on a normal day. So you don't have to be in your full suit, but maybe some slacks, something that looks presentable.
And with spring graduation just around the corner, Cole says the Office of Career Services is always available to help out the students.
As we start to prepare for graduates that are graduating in May, and our Office of Career Services, we're here for whatever phase the student is in, whether they're just starting to look for their career, what they want to pursue, or they want to work on their resume, or they're about to graduate. They can come see us to get help in any way we can help them. We'd be glad to.
Rachel Scarborough, Troy, TrojanVision News.
The career fair will be from 9 a.m. till noon tomorrow in Sartain Hall. Well, throughout the school year, several Troy clubs and organizations give back to the community.
That's right, Deatra, and one Troy organization is pedaling for a good cause. Wednesday and Thursday, the Brothers of Pi Kappa Phi at Troy University are participating in a fundraiser supporting their philanthropy.
We're pedaling for Push America, it stands for People Understanding the Severely Handicapped. We raise awareness and money for people with mental and physical disabilities.
The brothers are pedaling for 48 hours to raise awareness for Push America. The funds raised during the 2 days goes to Push America to help the organization fund building projects.
We raise money to build wheelchair ramps for people in wheelchairs. We help just raise money and awareness.
Members of Pi Kappa Phi fraternity will take turns taking shifts pedaling to raise awareness for Push America. The brothers encourage all students to participate in their fundraiser.
I think it's just one of those causes it's not really known as much. Nationally, we have a bike ride from San Francisco to Washington, D.C., and along the way we stop and help kids.
Wager says he's happy to be able to participate in pedaling for Push America and to inform students at Troy University about the organization.
People tend to just push kids aside that have disabilities. They're people too. I mean, we're all the same. We're all equal. So that's why I joined.
Once again, the brothers of Pi Kappa Phi will be in front of the Trojan Center pedaling for Push America until 11 a.m. tomorrow if you would like to make a donation.
And now taking a look at news from around the state. In Montgomery, black political leaders gathered where the Selma to Montgomery Voting Rights March ended to urge the U.S. Supreme Court to keep the Voting Rights Act intact. About 25 legislative and municipal officials gathered on the state capitol steps in one of many activities being held across the South to support the Voting Rights Act.
And in Tuscaloosa, a proposed riverfront development along the Black Warrior River is one step closer to becoming a reality. The City Council approved the plans for the multi-use development that would be located on the former Tuscaloosa Chevrolet site.
And in Madison, officials are considering shutting off gas lamps in the city's historic district to save money. Alabama.com reports City Council members said during a work session that they are ready to shut off the gas lines that feed 9 lamps on Church Street. Council members also want to remove 10 non-working gas lamps on Front Street.
And still to come on Troy TrojanVision Nightly News, the baseball team got revenge last night against an in-state opponent. Daniel Percival will have the details coming up next in sports.
But first, lawmakers in Connecticut are debating on a potential new gun law legislation. We'll have that story and more after the break.
Protesters and supporters flood the state capitol as Connecticut debates strict new gun laws. I'm Vanita Nair with the latest coming up.
Hands can do incredible things. Now they can even help save a life with hands-only CPR. If you see an adult suddenly collapse, just call 911, then push hard and fast in the center of the chest until help arrives. Learn more at handsonlycpr.org.
I was afraid of that.
Well, guess it's time to get you fixed.
Your pets will start fooling around sooner than you think.
Go on, get out of here!
Accidental litters lead to millions killed in shelters each year. Help prevent more. Fix at month 4.
From the high-definition digital production studios of Troy University, you're watching the award-winning Troy TrojanVision Nightly News.
And now for a look at what's happening across the nation and around the world, we'll go to Deatra Montgomery at the Global News Desk. Deatra.
Thanks, Bailey. Connecticut lawmakers are expected to vote today on what supporters call the most comprehensive gun control laws in the country. The bipartisan legislation comes in the wake of the Sandy Hook school shooting tragedy. Vanita Nair is outside the State House in Hartford, Connecticut with the latest.
Opponents of Connecticut's proposed gun control legislation protested outside the State House in Hartford. Inside, lawmakers have begun debating the bipartisan bill that calls for universal background checks and an expansion of the assault weapons ban. It would also limit magazines to 10 rounds.
The tragedy in Newtown demands a powerful response.
The measure comes in response to the Sandy Hook school massacre in Newtown, Connecticut in December. A gunman shot and killed 20 first graders and 6 educators. The bill also addresses mental health and school security.
Nothing could make me happier than if this bill solved all of these issues. But in my heart of hearts, I don't believe that to be the case.
Lawmakers here at the state capitol are expected to pass the comprehensive legislation, but many predict it will be challenged in court. The law's opponents say it only targets law-abiding citizens and would not have prevented the Sandy Hook tragedy.
I'm sorry, but you can't fix deranged idiots.
But advocates say the law will help prevent violence.
It's just hard to understand that after such a tragedy in Newtown that we could still have semi-automatic weapons, 30-round magazines available to the public.
Connecticut Governor Daniel Malloy said he will sign it into law. Some of the measures, including the background checks and assault weapons expansion, would go into effect immediately. Vanita Nair, CBS News, Hartford, Connecticut.
One day after promising to restart its nuclear program, North Korea has taken another step to escalate tensions between South Korea and the U.S. Daniel Nottingham has the latest from the State Department, where the Obama administration is watching the situation closely.
South Korean workers returned home after being turned away from their factory jobs in an industrial park across the border in North Korea. The park was seen as one of the last symbols of cooperation between the two battling nations. It employs more than 800 South Koreans and generates millions of dollars in trade. North Korea's latest move comes a day after the communist country threatened to restart a nuclear reactor and a uranium enrichment plant. Defense Secretary Chuck Hagel calls the North's development of nuclear weapons, quote, a growing threat to the U.S. and its allies.
It only takes being wrong once. And I don't want to be the Secretary of Defense who was wrong once. So we will continue to take these threats seriously.
The Obama administration is urging North Korea's allies, China and Russia, to help find a way to calm tensions. But the U.S. is also making it clear it is ready to respond if necessary.
The United States will do what is necessary to defend ourselves and defend our allies, Korea and Japan.
A second U.S. Navy destroyer has been deployed to the Pacific to respond to missile threats. And 2 stealth bombers took off from a U.S. base in South Korea today. The U.S. and South Korea have been holding joint military drills, which North Korea calls rehearsals for war. Danielle Nottingham, CBS News, the State Department.
Rutgers University is trying to contain a scandal involving its basketball program. The school fired Coach Mike Rice this morning, and a video surfaced that shows why. Alexis Christoforous reports.
The video shows Coach Mike Rice at team practices, shoving his players, hurling balls at them, and shouting insults. ESPN aired the video on Tuesday, and outrage followed fast. This morning, Rutgers announced Rice was fired. Outside his home in New Jersey, the coach was remorseful and apologetic.
There's no explanation for what's on those films because there is no excuse for it. I was wrong.
Rutgers athletic director Tim Pernetti first saw the clips back in November. He suspended Rice for 3 games and fined him $50,000. He said he hoped to rehabilitate Rice and that the coach worked hard to improve his behavior.
He knew exactly what he screwed up and what he did wrong.
But as outrage spread, school officials reconsidered. Shortly after the dismissal, Rutgers president released a statement saying Coach Rice's abusive language and actions are deeply offensive and egregiously violate the university's core values. Governor Chris Christie supported the decision, saying it was the right and necessary action to take in light of the conduct displayed on the videotape. News spread fast on campus.
I think they defended him for far too long.
I want to tell everybody who's believed in me that I'm deeply sorry for the pain and the hardship that I've caused him.
Rice says he has let down his players, his fans, and his family. Alexis Christoforous, CBS News, New York.
And that wraps things up from the Global News Desk. To see more stories from across the country and around the world, you can tune into Trojan Vision Global News right here after the nightly news. Now back to you, Bailey.
Thank you, Deatra. Now Danielle Percival joins us for a look at sports. So Danielle, busy night for the Trojan baseball team. They took on an in-state opponent.
Well, that's right, Bailey. Taking on Alabama State. Didn't have very good luck against them the first time around, but better luck last night. Let's get into the details.
Sounds good.
After a sweep of Middle Tennessee, the Trojans were looking to do something Tuesday night they hadn't accomplished since the 2008 season, win 7 in a row. Justin McNally has the story.
The Trojans got a bit of redemption on Tuesday night as they were able to ease the sting from an earlier loss this year to the Alabama State Hornets as the Trojans would coast to a 10-3 victory.
I really did like tonight. We got some guys back in the lineup that have started for us before, played a lot for us before, but got going in the season kind of slow. Been doing a lot of work on the side and in practice, and finally got an opportunity to get them back in, and I thought they played well.
The Trojan offense scored 11 runs in the 3-game series against Middle Tennessee this past weekend, but belted out 10 runs in the victory over the Hornets. Danny Collins and Trey Santos led the Trojans offensively with 3 RBIs each, and Logan Pierce pitched in an RBI as well.
I'm just glad to, help the team win off of last week's performance. It was pretty bad on my part, didn't really do much to help, but today glad I could score some runs and get a few hits out of it, so I was really happy with it.
Kind of frustrated with my last couple at bats, but other than that, it works. We got a W.
The Trojans saw a total of 8 pitchers over 8 innings of at bats, and felt as if the Hornets were just trying to disrupt a little bit of their offensive rhythm.
But it is hard to hit when every time you come up it's a new guy, you never get to really settle in, so I think we did a pretty good job handling that.
These midweek games, they try to get a lot of arms in, try to throw a lot of different guys at you, get you some different looks, maybe. But they did, and I thought they did a good job of mixing it up. Kind of threw us off a little bit, but we got in a groove.
Justin McNelly, Troy, TrojanVision Sports.
The Trojans will be back on the road this weekend and back in conference action. Troy will take on Louisiana Lafayette in a 3-game series beginning on Friday. When you haven't been in action in over a week, you might think the team could be a little rusty, but not the Troy softball team. Tuesday, the Trojans swept a doubleheader at Southern Miss in 2 comeback victories. In Game 1, the Trojans were down 7-0 after the second inning, but scored 9 unanswered to win in extra innings 9-7. Caitlin Ortiz hit a 2-run homer to center field to complete the comeback in the 8th inning and score the winning runs. That victory gave head coach Melanie Davis her 850th career victory at Troy. And in the nightcap, Troy was again trailing, this time 4-1, before a 5-run 5th inning put the Trojans on top for a 6-4 victory. Senior Michaela Hamilton pitched a complete game for the Trojans, including retiring the last 10 batters she faced. Troy has now taken on Southern Miss 4 times this season and has swept every contest. The Trojans have now won 4 of their last 5 games and will take on Florida Atlantic this weekend at the Troy Softball Complex. The men's golf team wrapped up competition at the Bancorp South Intercollegiate yesterday and finished the tournament in 9th place. Jake Tucker turned in the low round for the Trojans in the final day of competition, finishing 1 under par and tied for 22nd. Tolver Dozier had a nice comeback Tuesday with a 1 over par final round after a 6 over par second round. Mississippi State took home the team title with a 3-round score of 846. The men will be back on the road next week, taking part in the Old Waverly Collegiate Championship in West Point, Mississippi. The men's track and field team is receiving recognition in the region, being ranked 9th in the USTF CCCA Division I regional rankings. The Trojans are the top team from the Sun Belt in the rankings, with Middle Tennessee and South Alabama both making the top 15. Jordan Landberg is 3rd in the South region in the 200-meter dash for the Trojans' highest individual ranking. The Trojans' 4x100-meter relay team of Nico Freeman, Landberg, Benjamin Martin, and Philip Pritchett is 5th in the region. The team will be in action again this weekend at the Tiger Track Classic at Auburn University. So Deatra Bailey for the baseball team, 7 in a row, very impressive, but another number, 31 in a row. It is my parents' 31st anniversary, so happy anniversary, Mom and Dad. Maybe the Trojans can make it to 31 in a row as well. It'd be pretty awesome.
It would. It'd be very impressive. Best of luck to the Trojans, and happy anniversary to your parents.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Danielle. And still to come on TrojanVision Nightly News, find out how you can get involved in an upcoming 5K.
Plus, yesterday was warm and sunny, but today was cooler with light showers. Is more rain coming our way? Courtney?
Well, Bailey, it doesn't look like it's time to put our umbrellas or rain boots away just yet, but I'll have more details coming up next in weather.
With social work, and I think I finally found my niche and what I'm good at and what I can go far in life.
As soon as I started athletic training, I fell in love with it.
Troy University's College of Health and Human Services prepares students for high-demand careers of today and tomorrow. Careers offering attractive pay and the opportunity to make a difference in the lives of others.
My courses aren't just classwork. I've worked with the Department of Human Resources to put my skills to work with helping people.
with bachelor's and advanced degrees in athletic training, sport and fitness management, nursing, human services, rehabilitation and social work, health education, and physical education. All of Troy's College of Health and Human Services programs are nationally accredited, and our helpful faculty is dedicated to quality and student success.
As long as you're willing to do the work, they're willing to sacrifice their time and effort to make sure that you get to your goal.
We change the world. Come join us.
Contact Troy University, where we educate the mind to think, the heart to feel, and the body to act.
From the high-definition digital production studios of Troy University, you're watching the award-winning TrojanVision Nightly News.
And now Courtney Addison joins us for a look at weather.
So, Courtney, the beginning of this week, we experienced warm temperatures, sunny skies. Now it's very cloudy outside, a little bit cooler, rain's coming in. Is this going to last throughout the week?
You know, it seems like just when we were getting excited about spring weather and getting to pull out shorts and flip-flops and T-shirts, Troy weather snaps back and it's cold on us again. But, you know, it looks like that cold weather is going to stick around just a little bit longer, but we should have a beautiful weekend. But I'll have more on that later on. First, let's take a look at our campus cam. Looking at our campus cam, it is a little bit cloudy outside. Light winds coming in. Not too cold outside. A light jacket's basically all you need. Going into our current conditions, we're having cloudy skies. Temperature coming in at 57. Dew point at 51. Humidity at 80%. Barometer at 29.92 and falling. And winds coming in from the east at 16 miles per hour. Look at today's statistics. We had a high of 61, a low of 53. There was almost a quarter of an inch of rain. Sunrise was at 6:29 a.m. and the sun should set around 7:05 p.m. Looking at temperatures from around the state, we're experiencing temperatures really all over the place in between the 40s and all the way up to the 60s with basically cloudy skies coming in everywhere. Mobile coming in at 62, Montgomery 61, Birmingham really chilly at 48, Huntsville at 52, Troy at 58, Phoenix City 64, and Dothan at 57. Moving into temperatures around the southeast, for the most part, we're experiencing temperatures into the 60s, but if we look back to the west, places in Louisiana, Texas, Oklahoma, and Arkansas are experiencing temperatures a little bit chillier than we are because they've already experienced the cold front has already came through their area that we're experiencing right now. Taking a bigger scale and looking at temperatures around the United States, the western coast of the United States is experiencing temperatures into the 60s, but if we take a look at the other end of the United States, the northeastern part of the United States is experiencing temperatures in the 30s and the 40s. Going into our current service map, several high-pressure systems developing out west, as well as a low front developing in the northern part of the United States. But if we take a closer look into our area, we get a better look at the stationary front, which is pushed through our area, causing those cooler temperatures that we're experiencing now, as well as the rain that is pushed through our area. Looking at our precipitation forecast for the next 48 hours, rain basically all across the southeastern part of the United States. We can be experiencing up to a half an inch to 2 inches of rain, so be on the lookout for that. And going into tomorrow's forecast, rain in our area is 100% chance of rain for tomorrow, so make sure that you're very careful if you're going to be traveling and make sure you keep that rain jacket and your umbrella on hand. Going into Friday's forecast, for the most part, it's moved out of our area. Rain going to be farther east of us as well as in the tip of Florida. Going back into Saturday's forecast, most of that rain has moved out of our area, so it should be a beautiful weekend. Closing out our weekend on Sunday, rain should still remain out of our area. Going into tonight's forecast, there's a 70% chance of rain. Most of that rain should start early and then kind of drizzle out throughout the night. Variable winds coming in from the east, northeast at around 15 miles per hour with gusts reaching up to 22 to 25 miles per hour. So if you're going to be on the road, be very careful with a low of 53. So it's going to be a very chilly night again. Going into tomorrow's forecast, it is a 100% chance of rain. Most of the rain in the early part of the morning is just going to be showers, but there is a chance of very afternoon thunderstorms, and some of those have the potential to be very severe. With winds coming in from the east-northeast again at 10 miles per hour with gusts up to around 15 miles per hour with a high of 64. So it's going to be a little bit warmer today than a little warmer tomorrow than it was today. Looking at our 4-day forecast, Thursday a high of 61, low of 53. Friday high of 69, low of 43. Saturday high of 77, low of 48. Sunday with a high of 78 degrees. So Deatra Bailey, going to be a little bit chillier tomorrow and also going to rain, so make sure you keep your umbrella on hand, but it should be a beautiful weekend.
All right, good to know. Thanks, Courtney.
Thanks, Courtney.